Okay, let's get started.
Just raise your glasses high. This one's sweet.
Turtle time.
Simon Cowell took a break from being a terrible person and decided to say something nice about someone for once. That's right, he pulled a full-blown Susan Boyle and said Tom Sandoval could make a lot of money in the music industry. But just wait, because there was a little bit of cheekiness in that answer. He said he could make a lot of money playing at weddings and birthday parties. That's Simon Cowell for you, a little bit of hard truth with a huge dose of humor. Amy, how does Simon get away with this every time?
Doesn't Sandoval do those things already?
Yeah, he didn't know what the hell he was talking about, Simon Cowell. They got him, he was like about to go to the airport or something. And they asked him about Tom Sandoval and he kind of offered that analysis, but he doesn't know shit about him outside of his performance on American Idol a year ago. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember for a while, when everyone was talking about Sandoval and the most extras, someone posted that he performed at their wedding, and I think it was revealed that it was like 50 grand or something crazy because there's so many people in the band, which obviously is exorbitant. But if I had unlimited funds, what would be more fun than that, than at your after party at midnight or something, Tom Sandoval and the most extras coming out? Like, everyone would totally piss their pants.
They would. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. You'd be like, holy fucking shit, Tom Sandoval and the most extras are the band at my wedding. I mean, everyone would. You would drop all your hatred and you just be like, holy shit, this is crazy. So Simon Cowell, he got it right, sort of, in spirit, but he doesn't know that this actually is true. And Tom Sandoval is doing this kind of shit. I will never get the video out of my head of the American Idol audience not knowing who Tom Sandoval was and watching him perform that ABBA song or whatever it was. Do you remember this video that was circulating where he goes up on stage? I think it was ABBA. And he just fucking goes nuts. And the people seriously were screaming at the top of their lungs. Like, it was like Beatlemania again. And I was like, you don't know. How are you screaming like this? You don't know all the horrible stuff Tom Sandoval has done, but the music overrode their aversion to him, if you can imagine.
I love those edits of like people at first look confused.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
What is he going to do? And then they're like, oh,
yeah.
It's amazing.
I love those edits too. Yeah, first they're really skeptical. Like, one guy pulled out a magnifying glass and like the other person's looking at his friend like, do we like this? It's like very questioning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. And then it's like, wait, that fucking bass and the guitar, what's his name on drums? What was that guy's name that we had to learn a lot? Billy. He's like on the drums, and then you're like, whoa, it's such a fervor. So Simon Cowell, I don't know what to say about him. Whenever I see him pop his head out, I'm just like, wow, he's still doing it. And we've already talked about this, but America's Next Top Talent is the show that was a spinoff of American Idol that he created, right?
America's Got Talent?
Yeah,
EGT?
and that film's in Pasadena. Did you know that?
Oh, at the convention center or whatever?
Yeah, the same place where Frozen 2 had its cast and crew party. That exact same forum is where America's Got Talent hosts their audience stuff. So you'll see if you'll go to Waken Late on a random Tuesday at like 11 a.m., you'll see the biggest line you've ever seen for America's Got Talent.
I saw them filming The Lincoln Lawyer downtown yesterday, and I was like, LA's still got it.
That is so fucking cool. I was just listening to Michael Connelly, an interview for the first time. I had never heard his voice before, and he was talking about Lincoln Lawyer. Oh my God, he's one of the coolest people in the world, Michael Connelly.
You'll have to enlighten me sometime because I don't know anything about him.
Bosch. He created Bosch, and if people who have ever watched Bosch before, it's the most LA-centric show you've ever seen in your life. They're like, there was a murder on the Angels flight.
Right.
Like, the Angels flight? That thing that goes like 100 feet?
Did I tell you I took it recently?
No way.
It was a blast. It was just like the one they take on Beverly Hills this week.
Funicular, is that what it's called? Oh my God.
I'm a sucker for a gondola funicular. I'm like, get me from point A to point B in a fun way.
It's so cool. Isn't that called Bunker Hill? Like in John Fonte's book and stuff?
It literally goes for like 20 seconds. It's so short.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, if you would love Bosch. He in the first
I started Bosch. His house is really cool.
Yeah.
It's like the Amy Brenneman's house in Heat.
Exactly. In the first episode, I was like, what the hell is this? And then it's like, Bosch goes, I just killed someone. We're going to go to El Compadre where we go after we kill someone. And I was like, holy shit. What kind of show is this? I loved it being El Compadre. But that leads back to Michael Connelly, which leads back to Lincoln Lawyer, which leads back to downtown being vibrant and filming in Los Angeles.
Yes. Yeah, I saw the convertible, the blue convertible. Yeah, it was in Chinatown, and I was like, I got to get down here more. It was like bustling. There's all kinds of cool shit, stuff for sale. I was like, you never bored in LA. Turn a corner, see something cool. You're like, there's always something to discover.
You're never bored. I need to go to the restroom. Is that the Black Dahlia house? You know what I mean? It's just
You're
there's
fucked on that block. There's nowhere to piss for miles.
I was. That was a personal anecdote. I was fucked. I was like, can I use your bathroom? They're like, this is the Black Dahlia house. This is that.
You're like, you're going to have to go all the way down to Western. You start running.
Yeah. They're like, this is the house from the House on Haunted Hill or whatever, which I think is the same one. All of these anecdotes are from Los Angeles Plays itself. Do you remember that? We've talked about that before.
Yes.
Okay. So just to reset, Simon Cowell, great what he said. Goodbye, though. That's the last time I think we'll hear about Tom Sandoval for a while.
Yeah.
I haven't heard how House of Villains is going. I heard him and Tyson have had a really budding friendship. Tyson from Survivor,
Okay.
which you'll learn about him someday. When you do your Survivor journey, he's a notable figure. But I don't know what he's doing. I think out of sight, out of mind for me.
Yeah.
Personally. And then that's sort of it in terms of the introduction to Turtle Time, as far as what I had to go off of. And Bravo News, can I just say this? We were kind of, you and I, scouring. We did more research than we've ever done in our lives before Turtle Time. We couldn't find one. I said, what are the biggest Bravo News stories of the last 48 hours? And there was fucking shit.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that the state of the world is really interrupting the Bravo updates, but there was something that happened minutes after we wrapped the other day,
Oh, yeah.
which we touched on, and then we were like, should we update what we said? Because there's an update, and we were like, we're not doing all that. So we're just going to bring it up here.
Yeah, and that was, so the Margaret Josephs was only one piece of the big pie. It was like we were just like kind of in the dark, like, oh, Margaret Josephs quit or was fired. But then right after, 50 minutes after that news story, Bravo said, guess who's actually back? Like, forget about Margaret Josephs. We have Teresa, Melissa, and Dolores confirmed for season 15 of New Jersey, which is, huge news for that franchise in the future of New Jersey. The fact that they even made a decision finally is kind of a huge deal.
Yeah. Contrary to everything I said on the last episode, I was like, I don't give a shit about any of them. I don't care if they come back. And they were like, that's actually our only building block. And Dolores is on Rhode Island, which I think premieres next week. So, like, obviously she's extremely valuable to them. They're like, we'll have her on both.
Yes, totally. And you said maybe Dolores will fly into Rhode Island a lot and be a part of that cast, so we still get a piece of Dolores. But no, she's doing double duty here. And I think that they decided, so Margaret was probably most likely fired, I have to say. I think every single person got the official announcement. Jen Fessler, Rachel Fuda, unfortunately, they got their walking papers that day. So that's when Margaret said, oh, guess what? I'm doing Amazon Prime. I decided to leave. But really it was because we were building from the base of the new Teresa and Melissa friendship. And of course you need Dolores because of her connection to both sides and her connection to those families. So it's kind of like going back to the essence of New Jersey at the very beginning, and then use that as a starting point and then build around with new cast members, I would say.
Right. Yeah, it's a little annoying to imagine how pleased Teresa is that Margaret got the boot, like she's probably like, haha, you fucking loser, like I'm the star, you're not, it kind of hurts to think about.
Yeah, her main antagonist, her ultimate foil, who she hated, thought was Satan, is now gone on Amazon Prime. So Teresa did win, but if you're thinking about New Jersey, Teresa has to win. She has to win. And the idea of watching Melissa and Teresa navigate this new friendship with Dolores as a witness is so much more enticing than whatever the hell Margaret was going to do. You know that. I mean, we all have to agree. Even if you love Margaret, which I do. I love her. this is the foundation that we're going back to here. So
Right.
I'm New Jersey. I mean, it's back on. They're probably going to start filming pretty soon.
Yeah. We got a comment somewhere where they were saying, remember there was that stuff about Gia and Teresa opening a restaurant, and there was maybe going to be like a different show about it, that maybe that's just rolled into this, which again, they have another show with Gia. So they're like, get her on this. Then we have all this synergy, could be
yeah.
interesting. I was playing instead of counting sheep the other night, I was challenging myself to, off the top of my head, tabulate how many OG housewives are divorced, like got divorced from like when the shows started.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it and I was like, actually, some of the New Jersey OGs are the only ones that like held on, like Caroline and probably Jacqueline, right? They're still married to their original husbands. But I was like, almost on like every other franchise, like every single woman across the board got divorced.
Yeah, it's true. I think Vulture, somebody, I hate to not say the proper source, but we're like, this is the world of divorced people now. Bravo.
Oh, right.
Is
Yeah,
no
Amanda
longer
Batula was the
Yeah.
thumbnail. It was like divorcees rule the housewives or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a little more than the actual average of the actual divorce rates in the United States. Maybe a little more because they have this external factor that's pushing them. But still, yeah, you're right. I mean, when you think about it, were you having trouble sleeping?
Sometimes I just like, if I am trying to focus, I'll be like, list every single Cohen Brothers movie in order, like do like little brain teasers.
Oh, that is. Oh, I love that kind of shit. Do you ever watch TV to go to sleep?
No.
Okay.
I only have my VHS TV in the bedroom.
Okay.
It does have an antenna. Like I could possibly put on like the, channels 2 through 13, like watch Seinfeld or something. I've considered that, but I do what's even worse is I go on TikTok.
Okay.
And I'm having a problem recently where my Fitbit, I enter like a meditational state when I watch TikTok and my Fitbit thinks I'm sleeping. So I'm getting like inaccurate sleep reports
Whoa.
that say I'm falling asleep like 30 minutes before I do because my heart rate is like zen.
That's so cool. I mean, that's kind of interesting. It's like maybe you are getting into your sleep state a little
It's
bit.
like rest.
Yeah, your eyes are rolling back in your head, but you're still able to see what you're watching. You're inventing TikToks that you're seeing because you're entering dream state.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's probably okay. Well, I'll say I think TikTok is a little more stimulating than
That's the
what
thing.
I
I
fall
feel like
asleep
I'm
to.
like fired up
Yeah.
watching it. Like I'm like invigorated, but I guess I'm relaxed.
It's not good to do, I don't think it's good for sleep. Like I'm not supposed to be watching TV before sleep, but what I do is I put on a Ken Burns that I've seen before, like
that'll
or American Experience.
Snooze, immediate snooze.
Good night. George Washington hated Benedict Arnold, and I'm like, oh my God. I've watched the same section over and over again because I fall asleep immediately. But I grew up for some reason with a TV in my bedroom. You should have seen me. I was like, it's like comforting to me. To not go to sleep in silence.
My entire like childhood through like the whole time I lived with my parents through like 20 years old, I fell asleep with the TV on like always. And my sister still does that. Like when I stay with her, she's like blaring like Murder, She Wrote or like Law and Order. And I'm like, can we like turn this off? It's like insane. And it's like a massive like 60-inch TV. I'm like, ugh.
I'm not I'm not all the way there. I put it really quiet so I can barely hear it. I have the perfect volume. It's like if I hear George Washington, maybe about like 4. Like I need to only barely hear it, and then if I can't hear it but can sort of hear it, that's the perfect volume. And then I wake up and I go, why the fuck is the TV on? I hate it so much, and I turn it off. Like I get pissed in the middle of the night that I have the TV on, but it helped me so much. What can I what can I do?
It would be better for me to do that than TikTok. Like sometimes if Jimmy's out of town or something, I'll do something that I never do, which I think most millennials do, is like watch stuff on their laptop, like in bed. Like I'll bring my laptop in and I always pass out immediately. Like last weekend I was watching Survivor. I was like catching up on it and I made it like 7 minutes. Snoozed immediately.
Yeah, for me, it takes away all of the anxious, horrible things I would be thinking before
Right.
bed. I'm going to die. I can't believe I'm going to die. Oh my
How
God,
am I
life
gonna
is so
die?
fleeting. When will I die? Will I make it to 60? And instead, it's like I'm just thinking about George Washington for a second, and
Yeah.
then so it's a break from my mind. But also, I know that reading would probably like, oh my God, that would probably knock me out even harder. You know what I mean? I wish it was reading instead
Yeah.
of Ken Burns,
I
but
know.
I'm not
It's
there
like,
yet.
but you're a good reader. I'm like such a bad reader that I'm not engaged enough to push through. Like I get distracted. Whereas, but unless I have a book that I'm like super into, which is always the challenge to find.
Oh my God. Someday, if you ever need some recommendations, I think I've already said this before, but the new rule that has advanced my reading to the moon is I give up on a book after 20 minutes. And it's just like a movie. In a
Mhm.
movie, you know if you're going to like a movie within 5 minutes because you've seen enough movies. Tonally, visually, dialogue, you'll just know. Like, this is going to be shit. Like, I almost can letterbox a movie within 6 minutes because I know what it ultimately is going to be like because of the craft. Books should be the exact same way. Like, you should not trudge through Lolita or Of Mice and Men or Grapes of Wrath if you're fucking bored to tears. Just get, and that's why I'm saying so, like, and then your threshold actually raises because you start to read just purely entertaining things that you absolutely love, and then your barometer for what's good actually increases as you go along and you have more tolerance. So it's just kind of like building that.
Yeah. Have I told you that I have a friend? I know a couple people that in the past like 6 months read East of Eden and they like won't shut up about it.
Oh, it's the fucking best book I've ever read. And
You
I
gotta
read
do
it
it.
when my tolerance was low for boring shit. I read it when I was
it's
20 years
long.
old. No, it's fucking awesome. It's like the book of Genesis rewritten in Northern California or whatever, but it's like if you have that biblical story in your mind, it is so cool what the hell Steinbeck does with it. It's way better than Grapes of Wrath. I couldn't
Yeah.
even get through. At one point in Grapes of Wrath, the like cars are talking. They're like, "We need oil." There's like there's no narrator. It's just like, well, gas prices
I just
were
pictured
horrible.
the cars,
Yeah.
like the what's his name? The who's
Yeah,
the like hillbilly
Rusty.
car?
Rusty, Larry the Cable Guy, Rusty. Oh my God. Oh, I have so much to say. We went on the Cars ride at Disneyland.
It
was so
rips.
fucking awesome. Oh, yeah, the one where Rusty's spinning you around in circles.
I always go
and
there
Cars.
first. Single
Yeah.
rider, go there first. Ride by yourself with a nice family.
Oh my God.
You had the
Well,
special treatment. You got to go on it with your family, but I do the single rider line.
Oh, that's so. I mean, well, I'm proud of you for anything you do. No, the Cars ride is so cool, but then there's also this Rusty one where he goes, "Yeehaw! Get on my truck. I'm gonna spin you." I hate to do that accent, but I'm gonna spin you around, and it's kind of like bumper cars, except it's very controlled. But
Yeah.
oh my God, you should have seen Penny on it. She fucking she already loves Rusty. That's her favorite Pixar character. So, I was just saying that. Well, we were talking about Grapes of Wrath, which I was just going to say, I was going to put a pin in it. East of Eden, wonderful book. I hope you get to read it,
I
but
want
also
to read it before I have the DVD for the like movie from the 50s or whatever, but
Mhm.
also they're about to make, or they already made, it's going to come out soon, the HBO miniseries with Florence Pugh and Mike Feist, and it's like I think it's the whole thing, whereas the movie is just like one of the chapters. So I'm like, I got to read it and then watch the stuff.
You should. If I remember it how I do, when I was 20 reading it, it was just ripping. But I do think maybe give that one the 30 minutes before you give up. Because I think that if I remember, the opening chapter is like a stream of water descended down the mountains. You're like, okay, all right. I get the place and time.
Oh, I've heard
And
it's
then you
juicy
get-
as hell.
It
Like
is.
the
It's-
female character is like a psychopath.
Oh, she's kind of, I mean, some say that she's sort of a representation of Eve from the book of Genesis. So anyway, well, book time and then the New Jersey stuff. And then, did you see this lastly, Andy Cohen was pissed, steamed like a bee in his bonnet on Radio Andy. I've never heard him like this. Well, who's his co-host? Jeff? Someone named Jeff?
It's what's his name?
Jeff?
John Arthur.
Oh, John Arthur.
John
And he
Arthur
goes,
Hill.
John Arthur Hill. He goes, what's been a bee up your bonnet today? And Andy goes, I'm steamed as hell. He goes, I'm pissed. Did you see Sarah Michelle Gellar talking shit about Beverly Hills being boring? And
Isn't
he
she
goes,
besties with Crystal Minkoff?
I think it's quite possible. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't
think
know
so.
that there might have been a secret. Whoa. So she's like, tarnish this. It's boring without Crystal or something. I didn't even know that connection. But Andy Cohen he goes, Sarah Michelle Gellar, I've got a bone to pick with you. This season is not boring at all. And also, why did you go on Radio Andy with us a day before and say you liked Beverly Hills and then go do a different press outlet and say that you thought it was boring? And so he was pissed, and he goes, you are wrong. He said, and I was like, wow, she's wrong. Like, no one in the world could ever say Beverly Hills is boring this season.
Right. Crazy. I always think about how my younger self would be so ashamed and shocked that I don't listen to Radio Andy. Like, you're telling me he's on every day and I get to hear everything he says about Bravo and otherwise, and I just don't listen to it. But I'm like, I never could have predicted how saturated the market would be for all of this fucking chatter about Bravo. Like, that didn't exist before at all. I just had to read his books like every 3 years.
Yeah, you're right. We should have a Radio Andy segment where we add one more hour of duty that we have, where we listen to his radio show and comment on it. But I think that the clips bounce
the
up
thing.
into the universe if
Yeah.
they're notable enough. And this one was notable. It was like it was like breaking news. They were like, he was so pissed at Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I need to ask my dad if I'm pretty sure he is serious in his car. So I need to be like, can I have your login? Like, can I just like have it?
Yeah, oh, please. Oh, yeah.
Because I always just like once a year we always talk about how we wait for that offer where they're like, come back for $1, and I do that like twice a year and listen to all my Howards and like some Andy or whatever.
All right. Well, yeah, let me know how it goes with your dad, because that'll be a big combo. You're going to have, oh, speaking of, no one cares about this, but Audible just offered me that 99 cents a month for 3 months. Just now. I waited long enough, and now I get 3 books for
Wow.
$3, and I'll never sign up again for another year until they ask me back. They've gotten $3 from me every 2 years, I think, and I've gotten 15 audiobooks out of it. So
I need to
I'm just
be
like,
better about they've got me because I always forget and then I get charged $16. But then I'll pause because I have like 8 credits, and then I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of nice to have so many credits that you're like, I'll listen to that. I'll use it on this. Like, fuck that. I'll do this.
these are my fuck you credits. I decided I have like The Power Broker, The Path to Power, like all these like Robert Caro books, the longest books that I haven't gotten to yet. And I decided these 3 credits, I'm going fun as hell. I'm not giving it I have such a high threshold for what I'm going to get on Audible for some reason. This time I'm going fun. I'm going silly, crazy. So
Use
let me
them.
know. Yeah, let me know if there's any recommendations. Oh, I read this Hannibal Lecter book called Hannibal Lecter: A Life. Did you hear about this?
No.
It's all about the history of Hannibal Lecter in pop culture, starting with Thomas Harris, who wrote him, and then it's all the times that Hannibal Lecter has appeared in pop culture. It was really fun if you like Silence of the Lambs and that kind of shit. The writer, I've never read him before, but he did a wonderful job. It was called Hannibal Lecter: A Life. So that's about as fun as. It was a celebration of Hannibal, who's this despicable guy who eats people and stuff. But anyway, well, you can tell that we did not have a lot of news today. Anything else you wanted to say before we maybe talk about Southern Charm?
No, let's bop a do. I feel like I am now understanding why it was only 2 parts, because I feel like even the second part they didn't have too much to talk about.
Not really. Not really.
It was kind of tame.
Yeah, it was tame. I don't know why they decided that Southern Charm is just a 2-parter no matter what, but it's a good decision. I mean, like, I guess maybe it just was dependent on the content. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a lot of takeaways from this overall, except, I mean, I don't want to defend Craig immediately, but Austin, this is maybe not pro Craig. Austin should just like never talk to Craig again. Like by the end of this reunion, I was like, if you feel tortured and like you're doing a deal with the devil, or I have a high tolerance for pain, or whatever the hell he was saying. He was like, I can't stop letting Craig fuck me up. I was just like, stop talking to him then. Never talk
Right.
to him again. Like, make an entire season if Craig comes back about you being like, I fucking hate Craig's guts and I don't even want to speak to him anymore. Because this push and pull or whatever is getting way too annoying.
Right.
A lot of people were saying like this Craig and Austin shit is completely fake. Like, they go to By the Way, they are holding hands, or not holding hands, high-fiving. They're going on spring break trips to not Big Bear, God, snowboarding and stuff
Right.
together. It's like, if this is really such an antagonistic relationship, then why are you with each other all of the time?
Right.
So I kind of want Austin to like give it up. If it's hurting you so much, it'll be better for Craig too in the long run. He won't have a secret hater looking at him, licking his lips whenever he does something wrong. So that was my main takeaway. It starts out with Craig going, oh, fuck. This sucks. He goes, oh, I'm getting my ass handed to me out there. He goes, you all have villainized my vulnerability. He's backstage.
Yeah.
You all have villainized my vulnerability, and I just won't be vulnerable anymore with you all. If
The
you keep doing
producers
this,
are like, no.
Yeah. Like, we did that. We villainized it. I thought he was maybe talking to about the cast and not the producers, because I don't know if they were necessarily villainizing it, but maybe it was a part of his rant of like, I don't know if I'm going to come back anymore.
Right.
To
Yeah.
this.
Yes. When they sit back down after their break, he whispers to Andy, he's like, oh, like, I did so well this season. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
freak out once until the end. I did so good. And Andy's like, okay.
He's like, we're about to start.
He keeps waiting for Andy to be like, yeah, you did good.
Yeah, Andy was kind of like, I'm not your friend right now. Like, we're not having a sidebar talk about how
Right.
good you did. He's like, Craig, we're about to start right now.
He says so many times on this reunion, like, no, like, I only freaked out once. Like, I did so good. And then at the end, you got me, like, as if, like, it matters when it happened. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, no, like, I really tried so hard not to freak out. And then I did. And now you're mad. Like, I did so good otherwise.
Yeah. And he keeps saying 2 years, but there were, I think, multiple times that he yelled and lashed out, even as Rufio. Like,
Yeah.
he was so pissed at that party. Like, they were all shocked when he started screaming at Austin around them. It was a little bit of it was a little representation of what would ultimately be the van freak out. I mean, he was screaming too at Austin. So he does this way more than he says he does. But ultimately, at the end, he does realize that it might be an anger issue and not just an alcohol issue, which it seems like it takes him this reunion to get to that
Yeah.
point.
He literally says, he's like, yeah, I think I need to, like, recalibrate my conversations with my therapist to talk about this. And Andy's like, you've never talked about your anger in therapy? And he was like, no, we, like, talk about the alcohol. And I'm like, okay.
Were you worried that when he kept saying therapist, he was talking about Chat GPT? I'm really hoping that he actually is talking
I
to
know.
a therapist and not
He has, like, a
ChatGPT.
little computer with a bow tie on. And he's like, I'm here for my session.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that somebody, after watching the season where he said he uses ChatGPT for therapy, that Andy would have said, "Is it a human being?" Because
I know.
I wasn't 100% sure.
I know. I was, like, looking at his language to be like, it seems like he's talking about a true therapist, but he said that before where it felt like, I don't know.
He could even go. There's even like, Rula and stuff, like, which I
Yes.
love, where it's like it's a midway point. You don't have to go in person therapy, but talk to somebody like digitally, like Zoom
Yeah.
or whatever. It's like it's an easier way than going full robot.
Right.
Like, remember we said whatever ChatGPT therapist said be Rufio for that literary party is giving Craig horrible advice. And
Yeah.
and he said he gets gassed up by his ChatGPT, saying like, you only do this because you're such a wonderful empath. Like, some of this terminology
Right.
is probably coming from
Oh,
his
totally.
relationship with ChatGPT.
I saw a great TikTok that it was like Pete Hegseth getting hyped by ChatGPT for starting a war, and it was like, not a lot of men have the bravery that you have to do something hard like this. And I'm like,
Wow.
that's just like how they hype you to, like, make you feel better. It's like the point of the program until they tell
Yeah.
you to do something like weird and bad.
Yeah, yeah. Every time I do it, it'll be like, "You're being extra fun today, Riley. What happened to you?" Like, it's just being so sweet to me. I'm like, what did I do to deserve this?
I also, I saw there is I saw a video about people, like, it's in the terms and conditions that Chat GPT can turn over your conversations to law enforcement or like courts.
Mhm.
And like, I'm curious of how many people are going to get in trouble for, like, people use it for like legal counsel. I'm
Mhm.
sure people are like looking up like how to kill and
Yeah,
get
of
away with
course.
shit.
I mean,
It's like,
our
that's going
taxes.
straight to
Yeah.
whoever needs to vilify you.
How to kill. How to kill. Yeah, I was like, what? When we did it with our taxes for Turtle Time, it fucked up completely. It was like, it was horrible.
We're going
It
to
was like,
jail.
yeah, I was like, please don't submit this to the IRS. It was like, you guys got $100,000 back or something. We were like, what the hell is it? Why are we doing taxes on this thing? Yeah, Craig, what the hell were you thinking? But we still have more to talk about.
Did you like that also a fan asked Shep, why didn't you tell him that Rufio's not in Peter Pan? And Shep's like, I don't fuck with Peter Pan.
Yeah, I was like, that was not a fun answer though. Like, that was such a huge hot topic for us on Turtle Time that he
know.
kind of just like, he was like,
He didn't
I
yes
don't,
and it.
yeah, he's like, I don't like Peter Pan, so I don't determine whether or not Rufio is a part of its canon or not. I was like, that was not fun, Shep, at all. It starts with Vanita. Vanita gets a huge part of it.
They asked her about dating Carl, and she said, talk about don't talk to the press. She said that he pulled a West and was like told People magazine that distance will be an issue for them, so they're probably not gonna date. And she's like, he didn't tell me that, but he told People magazine. I'm like, people got to stop doing these interviews.
That is so. I thought that was so wild that Carl only told People in an exclusive that he couldn't date Vanita anymore. So yeah, she was shocked by that. So that's the end of Vanita and Carl. And
Yeah.
did you see this? This is news. Did you see when Jesse was making people do that new trend where people sing on TikTok where people sing Jesse songs, Solomon songs? It was how do I do something like this now? That song that he has. And it was making.
Guess I'll start being me.
Yeah. He goes, should I do Old Blue Eyes on tour? And the comments were so mean.
I know.
I think we follow each other. And I was like, yes. I go, Old Blue Eyes inhabited your body right now. You got to do them on stage. Because he started singing Fly Me to the Moon. And I was like, this is amazing. But everybody was going, no, don't. Frank Sinatra sucks. And so they were being rude. But anyway, on this challenge, the Jesse Solomon challenge, a bunch of Summer House cast members were doing it. And Carl and Bailey were holding hands, strutting down a hallway. And people said, is this a gift from God to say that Bailey and Carl might be dating?
They're trolling.
Really? It's a PR troll?
I think they were like, this will help Jesse get more views on his song that no one likes.
What? So wait. But they put like heart emojis on it and people were like, I'm shipping them now. Bailey and Carl. So you think it was fodder. You think it was
I
to
think
make
they
us.
knew it would make people light up.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, dispel my myth that I created in my head. I like that song. I just have to say, I can't let just a negative comment go out.
How does
I
it
think
go?
it's everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody knows that I'm that guy. It's really I think that for me, I don't listen to crooners as much anymore, except Frank Sinatra. So to hear crooning again, it strikes at that crooner piece of my heart. But we just don't hear that kind of music anymore.
I know. I'm sort of bummed out. Shohei Ohtani, today's, we're recording on opening day, and he changed his song from Bublé, Feeling Good, to, he changed it to Lupe Fiasco, The Show Goes On. And I'm like, come on. I'm like, Bublé, nobody does it like that. It's such a fun, weird choice. It would be like, and I'm feeling good. Burner. Burner. It was like so like burlesque.
Oh, it's so crazy. Oh my God. Nothing hits harder than Frank Sinatra. I'll tell it when Penny's eating dinner in the kitchen or something. I'll say, Alexa, turn on Frank Sinatra. Oh God, it's going to turn it on right now. No, it goes nuts. It just strikes a chord. So Jesse's got infected by Frank Sinatra's spirit and he's letting these things loose, but you don't like it.
It's just like, I don't get who it's for. It doesn't seem that anyone likes it. Maybe people are just being haters in the comments, but I'm curious to see what does he have an album or he just has a single?
I think it's a huge album's coming. Here's what I'll say. It's so transparent, that type of art, versus like DJing and other outlets that we've seen people have. Like, speaking of, like, Hannah and Paige are now going to have a full piece of art that's not podcasting or some medley they've created. It's full artistic expression. That's what music is. If someone wrote a novel like Heather Gay, we're going to be judging her for her novel if it's complete fucking trash. So I'll just say that, like, to take that leap, it's a huge artistic leap, where in the Bravo celebrity space, I don't think we're used to people going that far. So it's easy to dismiss because it's just so clear cut. I fucking hate this song, or I fucking think he has talent. But again, I don't want to denigrate someone who, like, went all out. But I agree completely that I think the most common reaction is that it's kind of embarrassing.
Right. Yeah, because most Bravo celebrity songs are more like, it's always a housewife.
Yeah.
It's always sort of like a bop, an anthem, like something like Money Can't Buy You Class, or On Display, or Tardy for the Party. It's is he the first besides Simon Van Kampen of the men to have a song?
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't even thinking of all the wonderful, beautiful other Bravo celebrity songs. More pop-oriented and a little more novelty, a little more irony to listen to them.
He's taking this seriously.
This is a serious music path, and I'm proud of him. I'm still a Jesse defender, but I understand that the most people don't enjoy, I think, this outlet for him, which goes back to what we were talking about, Carl and Vanita. It's over. I never really let that rumor hit me at all. I didn't even think about it for 1 second, Carl and Vanita.
Yeah, I always take it all with a grain of salt. I think they did go like on a date or two, which was cute, but whatever. So yeah, it's then her versus Craig. They talk about, again, what she said on Vial Files. She's like, Craig should have reached out to me if he didn't like what I was saying. He says that she's just repeating what she saw on Reddit. She denies going on Reddit. I love when Reddit comes up because I think it really pokes all Bravo stars, because they're like, people are on Reddit trying to get to the bottom of all of our shit.
Yeah, they're like, yeah. She says that she doesn't do social media stuff like that. Like, she doesn't scour Reddit. But then she does acknowledge that the internet did impact some of the decisions she made when it comes to Sally. When she was like, people send me comments and DMs that they get or that she personally receives, and it ended up actually changing her impression of Sally when they get to that later. Right. So not necessarily Reddit, but social media did come into play when Vanita is making, decisions about how to go forward. So I thought there was a little bit of parsing there that you have to do, that it's not specifically Reddit. But, oh God, Craig, why do I defend you so much? What the hell am I going to do? But there was a part of me that was like, when he said, you didn't know Paige and you didn't know me, and you said that I was reveling in my breakup, there was no pushback from Vanita, unless they edited out, of her saying, oh, I knew Paige so much. I loved her. You treated me like shit. You never had a friendship with me. But Paige and I were wonderful. She doesn't push back. She's like, yeah. She doesn't say, I knew Paige really well. So that's where Craig gets the impression that this is jumping on the bandwagon, being Team Paige, because the fallout from that breakout, the majority of it was so pro Paige in the aftermath of that breakup.
He also says, he goes, I know that you didn't know Paige because we were inseparable and never were apart for a single day. So I would know if you guys were friends. And I'm like, you guys lived in totally different cities for years. Like, you were apart all the time. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yes, true. Yeah, not every day, but I think when they talk about the actual like that he was enjoying this publicity or whatever, Madison says, "I don't think that at all. He was devastated by this."
I don't think
And
he was enjoying it, but he was certainly talking about it plenty.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Oh, right. I'm trying to think. Yeah, because he says he didn't talk about
Remember,
it at
he
all.
was
That
on like
Paige,
Tamron Hall and he was on like Watch What Happens. He was like, I feel like I heard him say plenty at that time. Like, that's what she was talking about, was him talking about like whether or not Paige moved on and like that he was
yeah.
blindsided. Like, we have probably 10 moments that he commented on that breakup in the aftermath.
You're probably right. I don't even remember the Craig press run, but the fork in the road seemed to be when he didn't defend Paige against the accusations that she had immediately started dating Joe D'Amelio, because he
Right.
was like, I don't know. He was like, as her boyfriend, I thought it was shocking to see photos of them. I don't know when this timeline was of when they started dating. And that was when Paige said, I'm writing this person off forever. And it became more of an acrimonious split after that. But you're right. You know, I don't need to defend Craig for that. I just know that I think personally he was emotionally devastated about this relationship. But I guess that doesn't negate that he did a press run and talked about it a lot, which maybe Vanita was chastising him for.
Yeah. I think she just doesn't like him. So it's like, again, not that deep. It's like, yeah, she doesn't really like you. Like,
Vanita?
whatever. Yeah.
I don't think that, actually. I think that Vanita didn't think that those comments on Vial Files were that nasty.
Mhm.
And then Craig, with using his power as a cast member on Watch What Happens Live to slam her like that, really pushed it up into the universe and was like, felt like such a horrible stab in the back for maybe semi-innocuous comments.
Yeah.
So it was like basically taking a bazooka to a fruit fight. And so then after that, Vanita felt slighted, and then that caused the animus. And Craig is still, and so it could have all been resolved with a talk, I guess. But Craig is like, I didn't know you enough. I just heard your comment that was pro Paige. I couldn't stand it. I thought it was nasty. And then they never cared about each other enough to bring it back. But just to say, to close this chapter, by the end of it, it does seem like there's some headway, because Craig does apologize a little bit for the overreaction in Mexico. And Vanita goes, when will you be inviting me to your hot tub again? So they might have gone a little, further in their relationship after this.
Yeah. And then it switches to her and Sally. So Vanita gets like a pretty meaty portion of this second episode. And they pretty much end up okay too. Sally says that she thinks that Vanita is ashamed to be her friend, and that sometimes when people come ask them for photos, she's like, we can't be seen together. Which then the reason was sad. It was sort of similar to what Sierra was saying about fan reactions to Wes, where they're like, you're a fool, you're getting played by, and I'm like, people need to like really get a life. Like, that's crazy. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, on TikTok, they have folded comments where it's like, do you want to see the absolute worst hate you've ever seen in your life? Click this. And then I see the horrible comments. On TikTok, like, people, Bravo celebrities especially, need to figure out some way to get the mean-spirited stuff not on their radar, because no one, we've seen this even for Turtle Time reviews, no one cannot stop thinking about the worst thing that someone said. I remember comments from 2 years ago about shitty things that I said during episodes, or horrible episodes. And I'm just saying, imagine that on a much bigger scale. So it's sad to me that Vanita even takes into consideration for 1 second people being like, Sally's playing you. You fucking lost in Sally's war. It's like, just, and Shep says that too. He goes, those people are not your friends. You should not be getting any of your self-worth from comments and anonymous people telling you
Andy's
shit.
like, you're too smart to go off of viewer comments. Like, what are you talking about? And Madison makes an interesting comment. She goes, I think this is the first time in Southern Charm history that every single one of us are actually legitimate friends. Like, we hang out off camera. Like, it's a true group, which is interesting. I was trying to think of like what mix of people there were in the past where that was not true. But they all seem to agree.
Yeah. You think Craig's in that group?
I mean, it seems like him and Madison, like she kept like chiming in for him, and then
Yeah.
obviously like he has his ongoing shit with Austin and Shep. So it seems like he's in the mix to some degree.
Yeah, because I would think, like Shep and Madison would keep him, in the loop for stuff. If not,
Right.
because Austin probably wouldn't at this point. But yeah, so maybe they are all friends. Then Andy asked one of the questions of the reunion for me. He was like, Sally, you liked Craig. Remember that? All of the chickens and all of that kind of stuff. And Sally goes, I just thought Craig was a hot piece of ass, a piece of meat. What else do they say? Stuff like that. Like just hot guy, too hot to handle. So she kind of discounts that she had feelings for him. Everything she said, she was just like, you were too hot for me to even deal with. I just had to try to date you,
Right. Yeah. And then they go through the hot tub texts. There was a thing about like, she goes, I wish I stayed. And he says, you could have stayed if you want. And Andy's like, most people would interpret that as like flirtatious, like you could have slept over. Like I would have been down. And he's like, I guess like I shouldn't have said it because I meant more just like I was trying to be nice. And then they talk about that one time Charlie was over and he was like, I showed her my sewing wing or my whatever sewing room. And he was like, she said that he said, you can kiss me if you want. And she was like, I don't want.
Yeah, she was disgusted by Craig. It seemed like she was disgusted by Craig this whole reunion. I was
He
like
was
kind of
making
shocked.
it worse.
Yeah, he was saying weird stuff. Like he said that he doesn't have good moves or whatever or game. But yeah, Charlie was like, yeah, that was a horrible way to try to get the ball rolling on this, especially because I think at that point she still thought Sally was actually interested in Craig. And then Andy says that Craig might be the most chaste of all of the Southern Charm men. And Craig says, I don't sleep with people that I don't like at all, which I think is a difference, I guess, maybe between him and Austin and Shep. And he goes, if I don't like someone, I'll just go home and masturbate. So
Right.
um,
Yeah, they all had a good laugh about that. Then we get into like the Sally, Charlie, Craig of it all. And Sally's like, I feel like Charlie downplayed the relationship. Like that's why she was shocked about the details of how much they were talking and stuff, because she says that Charlie underplayed it. And Charlie's like, I wasn't trying to keep a secret. I just wanted to form my own opinion without you chiming in. And she goes, Sally's like, well, that's not how our friendship is. We usually tell each other every single thing about every date we go on and blah, blah, blah. And Madison was like, haven't you guys like only been friends for a few months? Like, what are you even talking about? And she goes, the way you guys throw around the term best friends is insane, which I had just thought because Vanita called Sally her best friend. And I'm like, like, first of all, you're too old to talk like that. To me, best friend means like you go way back. They're like a sister, like your families are close. Like there's like certain criteria for someone over the age of 30 to call someone their best friend. And I feel like they put this weird signifier for everyone. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, it's fake. It's used to make conflict at so much more at a higher level than what it actually is. So Vanita and Sally were the first people where we were skeptical of them using the term best friend. We were like, when? You weren't friends last season,
Right.
so you became friends in the off season. So what is that? 6 months at most to call each other best friends? It's just so there's a higher weight to the drama. And I thought it was amazing for Madison to call that out because it was so funny to learn that Charlie and Sally didn't know each other very well at all. There's no bonds form. You have no idea how your friendship works at all.
Right.
You barely know each other at all.
Yeah, like you could just say like, we ended up getting really close in the last few months. Like she's actually become a really good friend of mine, but they're like, we're best friends. And I'm like, you're best friends with Charlie and Vanita and only for the past year.
Yeah, I hope that Madison soundbite is used forever. I hope that really starts people to think when they want to use that before, because it's especially egregious on this show, but other franchises do it too. They call each other best friends when they've known each other for a couple of months.
It's crazy.
We find out Charlie is dating someone from Southern Hospitality named Justin.
Do you know him?
No, I think he's a new cast member this season. Sally dismissively says he's on Southern Hospitality. And Craig says, I see him all the time. He goes, he comes to By the Way. I say hi to him. He's kind of like bummed out And he says that him and Charlie kept talking for a period of time, even after Mexico, which I wasn't sure about this. I need the official timeline, but he was like, we talked for a while. She said she wasn't seeing people. But then Austin had to tell him in Vegas. He goes, guess what? The thing with Justin from Southern Hospitality is a much bigger deal. She said she loves him.
Does Vegas mean BravoCon?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
When they say Vegas, like New York, why would they both be in Vegas? It had to be in November. But if that's true, no one believes Craig. We would believe Charlie because she said we never talked. But so someone is lying there or misrepresenting the timeline, because if Charlie was still talking to Craig in November, that's a really long time past filming for him to learn that she is now dating Justin. Maybe Charlie should go on Southern Hospitality.
Yeah. I'm sure Andy was very pleased to have this crossover moment to get to shout out. It really is. I don't watch that show. I've tried, but if I didn't know that I didn't like it, I would say it does seem like they have a Vanderpumpian thing going where they just can't not fuck each other. Like Molly's from there, Sally's from there, Charlie's dating a guy from there, like Leva is there. Like, I understand why it's fruitful for the network.
Everything, though, is fake on Southern Hospitality. Like, I actually don't think anybody has had sex with each other except Maddie and Joe Bradley. Maybe they've had sex like twice in their 2-year relationship. But everything else, it's actually, there's no cheating scandals on Southern Hospitality that were actually real. Every single one of them has been completely fabricated. So I don't know. I saw a little glimpse of season 4 and I was like, oh, fuck no, I'm not watching that. I saw what's going on. If Emmy, this show could be called I Hate Emmy. And every single season is about what they can get away with in terms of treating Emmy like shit. And I already saw the teaser for season 4 and it's still going on. So I can't stand it. But I do think it's good for Southern Charm to have this training wheels, Muppet Babies version of Southern Charm going on, because then it's a proving ground for people to make it to this show, like Molly and Sally, because it's great for them. So maybe every city should have a subpar, shitty version that's just a testing ground, so that our other franchises get their talent if they move up
petri
the ranks.
dish.
Total petri dish. That's really how I feel. I think Southern Hospitality is so terrible.
Was Gaston from that, or was he unrelated? He was,
Which one was Gaston again?
He was with Miss Green, Taylor Ann Green.
Gaston was a peripheral figure on Southern Hospitality. I don't think he ever had huge moments. He was kind of like Sally, I'm pretty sure, where he's just referenced. They reference everyone on that show. Like that, anyone can come into the Southern Hospitality universe. Not everyone can come to the Southern Charm universe. That's why I'm saying, Charlie, maybe you go to Southern Hospitality with your new boyfriend. Get out of
my face.
Yeah, maybe I'm saying something like that.
So this is where, Craig is like, Charlie, you took my hand and told me that you weren't talking to anyone else. And she's like, that literally never happened. I swear that's not real. And he goes, we have it on camera. And I'm like, we do? Like, roll the clip.
Yeah, and we don't see it. And also, he doesn't know what's on camera or not because he didn't watch the season. So he could be misrepresenting that he thought that appeared on camera.
Right. She's like, we were never actually together. We went on like 2 dates. And he's like, I was strung along. He goes, I finally know what it means. And Andy goes, were you gaslit? And he goes, I was love bombed. Which for some reason, it's like so funny. Like, you almost never accuse a woman of love bombing or even gaslighting. It's funny to see it in the other direction, and everyone almost laughs. They're like, holy shit, what are you trying to say? And she's like, Austin's like, I've been waiting for this.
Because I've been waiting for Craig to fuck up like this, saying words like that. I don't know what the hell Craig was thinking.
Chat GPT told him that too.
Sounds
like you were love bombed and gaslit by this Jezebel.
Totally. Oh my God. It read Craig like a book and spit out love bombing on
like,
it.
You're totally right.
You know how you avoid being embarrassed by doing stuff like this is don't use huge terms like this that you don't accurately know what they mean at all. This is what he just got into trouble with empath versus narcissist. Just don't use these strong words like this, especially about yourself. And it gets Charlie upset. And I was like, I don't like this at all. Because Craig was like, you did this. You strung me along. You could have liked me after Mexico. There was blips of you speaking to me. And she's like, no, I hated you after Mexico. It's very clear. It sucked what you did. And he's like, no, come on. It couldn't have just been Mexico because remember that other stuff? And she's like, I'm telling you how I feel. I was repulsed by you in Mexico. It's like, you never want to be the guy or anyone who's being like, yeah, you loved me. You did. I remember. It was those conversations. And she's a first-time cast member, so this reunion is already upsetting her because it's just so high stress. So when he accuses her of love bombing, it seems like such a big accusation. So she gets kind of like, it causes her to get upset. Like she cries because you could argue he is gaslighting by changing misrepresenting what she felt about him.
This has happened multiple times on shows where, like, he's saying, he goes, we talked about a future. I really thought we were going to make it out of filming. And she was like, yeah, I thought maybe we would continue dating too. But then I was turned off and I decided not to move forward. Like, that happened with even with it's kind of like, remember with like Lindsay and Carl, like it was criminalized to break off your engagement. And I'm like, if you no longer want to be with someone, you must end the relationship. Like, obviously that's on a larger scale, but it's like, yeah, like when you're dating, you're choosing to move forward until you choose not to move forward. Like that is what happens.
Yeah,
you don't need a good excuse except that you don't want to anymore.
No, it's very odd. I mean, he's trying to say his feelings, which are that there was talk of calling him at weddings and going to Paris and stuff. But I'm sorry, you just can't get around the fact that the other person in this relationship said what they said about it and said that they didn't like you. Like, but he's allowed to say his feelings, but just don't change the facts of it. And then when Charlie's like, I don't like that you're telling me how I felt, Sally goes, that's because he's a gaslighter and he's manipulative. And then I felt like Craig was stabbed in the heart, his reaction. He was like, wait, Sally, I thought we were good. He goes, what? He goes, I'm just saying how I'm feeling. He didn't know that Sally would go like round 2 with him after they just had a conversation where it seemed like him and Sally were getting into a better place, that she would use words like that. And then he was like, oh God, I fucked up completely. Like this went wrong again, which is how he already felt in part 1. So he felt like he did wrong again at this point. And then what happens? She goes in the back because it's her birthday. She's upset. And, then they have she's super overwhelmed. She's crying. She's just like, she has never experienced what this is like, like Sally's like, it's your first reunion. It's a lot, which I think would be most normal people's reaction. And then she's like, I just hate that he keeps trying to, like deny what I'm saying. And the second she comes back out, he's like, it's kind of crazy that you were saying that you just broke up with me because of Mexico. And she was like, well, that's literally what it was. So I don't know, like, what the fuck you want from me. And he's walking around going, I was perfect until then. Like, he keeps being like, God damn it. If I just didn't blow up in Mexico, I would have been scot-free. Like, I lost it. He's like, I was so close, but I did that one thing that was really bad that repulsed her. Yeah, I don't like how he's talking about it. It just doesn't make any sense. It's odd,
like
and
he thinks that he is unimpeachable unless he blows up. And I'm like, your personality can still suck without you yelling at people. Like, you can still be judged without having a huge blow up.
Yeah, it's still there. The undercurrent is still there. And they saw a lot of times where you didn't go 10 out of 10, but you did 7 out of 10, 4 out of 10. There is a little bit of anger that's recurring. And so he's trying to get his point across, but it doesn't do him any favors. And then they talk about the Mexico trip, sort of as a wrap up towards the end. Yeah. They go, in the spirit of camaraderie, we did this trip because we've had wonderful moments. And then Shep goes, or someone says, we've had awful moments too on a trip. And they show Craig. Whitney's going, cook the hot dog perpendicular so the grill lines are on it. And Craig goes, fuck you. And he throws the hot dog at him. He goes, I'm going to break your fucking glasses. And Whitney goes, damn, Craig. And I was like, whoa, I want to watch Southern Charm again.
Underutilized angry Craig clip. They usually use the airport in like
Yeah.
Nashville or whatever, and like that like long dinner table one. But I was like, ooh, this is kind of a new one that you don't usually use.
I want to see uncooked hot dog on Whitney's face clip in that montage. It was crazy.
Cook
Whitney
your
was
own
like,
fucking hot dog.
yeah, and then he throws a frisbee at his head and says, "I'm going to break your fucking glasses off your face." Like that was kind of wild. And then they talk about Vanita's comments. Craig gets a little Chat GPT'd or possibly therapy brained
Yeah.
because he goes, "Guess what? I thought that I was losing control, like I lost control. My world was shattered with Paige. I
Yeah.
felt like Charlie was slipping through my fingers once again, like just like I'd been slipped before with Paige. And I started to lash out and freak out, and it bottled up for a long time. And so I released, and he does ultimately apologize to the whole group for screaming, which is something that they said. Charlie said at one point, like, you didn't apologize to the group. You didn't apologize to me. And he goes, I'm sorry, but this is what happened. And so he tries. He gives an apology with no but.
Right. Yeah. When he apologizes, Madison goes, maybe you should actually watch the season. And he goes, once I'm in a good place, I'll watch it back, which I'm like, he should watch it. Like everyone on Bravo always says that it's like a huge game changer to watch your bad behavior on the show.
Even for just seeing what other people say in their confessionals. Like, I don't get it. Like, you want to see what Austin was saying. If I was Craig, I want to be like, what the fuck did that guy say in his confessional? Right. Like, that's like, so that you can bring it up, even as ammunition for yourself. If you want to be like, why the hell were you saying shit like that? That was a mischaracterization. You can't just go off your mind.
No.
That's only 25%
Amateur
of the
hour, frankly.
Amateur hour, Craig. And he goes, maybe when I talk to my therapist again, I'll watch it. But you have to know the overall arc of the edit. It's too important. Also, Andy tries to dispel the myth that Craig creates when he's like, anyone like me could freak out if you've been in a cage with no water or no food and just plied with alcohol for 16 hours. And Andy goes, what the hell did you just say?
Cut the camera's dead ass.
He goes, shut up. He goes, don't ever say anything like that. He goes, you all had access to food. There was water flowing in every bottle. And
they roll the clip. We get a clip of Craig drinking water, them ordering quesadillas, tacos. He's like, there's plenty of footage of you guys eating. How dare you give the reality reckoning fodder? I'll kill you.
Yeah. And I thought it was somewhere between Craig trying to exaggerate the conditions. I didn't think he was putting it on production. I have to say that. But Andy, it sounds bad. And Andy is always thinking that. So he's like, you had water.
Yeah.
You had those.
There used to be those, like the way people would talk about The Bachelor, where it would be like they keep them up all night. They don't feed them. They have them only drink so that they're just in like total turmoil. Like that's always been part of the reality reckoning argument. But Austin was like, he's like, I ate so much on that trip. I was full as hell. Like they were all like, don't get me started on how much we ate and drank water.
Yeah. Austin goes, you were full too, Craig. Admit it. You had enchiladas and that big burrito we had. You were full as hell. So Andy goes, yeah, I will not let you get away with that. Oh, what did you think really quickly before we wrap up this reunion? Craig does make his threat known. I don't know if it's a threat or I don't know what he's doing with it, but he goes, maybe this show sucks to me, or for me personally. Maybe I should just get the hell out of town. And Andy gave him a really odd look, kind of like looking at him like, are you going to fucking announce that you're retiring right now? What are you trying to say over there, Craig? And then he walks it back a little bit, but I didn't know if that was to make people back off him a little bit, because he was like, do you really want to get me off the show? Like, do you know what this show would be? Every single storyline of this season is about me in relation to someone else. What the hell would happen if I was off the show? Or do you think he was just saying for his mental health, he maybe should leave?
I think he was being a drama queen. Like he was like, maybe I just shouldn't be here then. And like wanting everyone to be like, no, no, no.
No one said no, no, no.
They were like, whatever, bitch.
But I do think, I don't know. I mean, if you know how we were talking about how spoilers for Survivor 50, how it was bad television for Christian to vote off Mike White. Yeah. They all have to know it's bad television to vote off Craig. Come on. Even Austin and Shep. Shep is giving absolutely fucking nothing now. I have been biting
a true
my
friend of.
I've been biting my damn tongue for 2 seasons, but him without Taylor and Green, whatever the hell he's up to now, even Patricia and Whitney, who hate Craig and love Shep, are probably like, yeah, Craig cannot be off this show. What the hell would we do? Shep is bringing fucking shit, and Austin has no storyline if it's not in as an antagonist towards Craig.
Right. Yeah. I did love when Madison keeps defending Craig, like about his blow up. She goes, a real friend would have helped you, not judged you. And they were all like, you don't even understand. They're like, there's nothing you could have done in the van. I doubt it. And she goes, we just need to accept him for who he is. And Austin goes, accept what? That our friend is an asshole?
Totally.
I
Yeah.
laughed.
Yeah, that was great. That's when he says, maybe I should get the fuck out of here. I agree with Madison, though. I agree that Austin just putting his head in the sand and being like, I'm going to let this fucking enemy of mine just lose
Make
it.
a fool of himself.
Make a fool of himself because, yeah. Well, first of all, Austin should have done it to stop Sally from getting berated. That is the noble, honorable thing to do. He should have, instead of putting his hat over his eyes or whatever the fuck he said he did, you should have said, stop talking to Sally like that, Craig. Instead, he goes, I didn't want to get in the middle of it. But truly, I think, knowing Austin's deep intentions, I think he wanted Craig to look like fucking shit. And I agree with Madison that she would have talked him down in that moment. I actually didn't mind Madison being loyal to Craig, maybe because I'm just such a fucking Craig defender. But I actually appreciate it because Madison seemed to have the right opinion on almost everything. Like, I loved her chastising the best friends thing, even though she likes Vanita enough, or Sally enough. So it feels like she was just saying how she
was
truly
like level-headed generally, and like only chimed in like when necessary.
Yeah.
It ends with a toast and cupcakes for Charlie. For some reason, they left in Andy going like, "I'll have a cupcake." And then he had like icing on his face.
Really?
I was like, why'd they do him dirty like that?
He had icing on his face and on his nose?
Yeah, Madison had to tell him. She was like, Andy, you have shit on your face.
Oh my God. I don't know if I saw that. Holy shit, he was eating a cupcake. They go around the room. Austin's was so annoying to me. Austin's room talk. They go, what's for the future of you and Craig? And he goes, there's some peace. We're going to be in group chats. That allows for peace, but it'll remain that way, what you saw today, until I don't know when, with him and Craig. And I was like, what the hell are you fucking talking about? He doesn't want to throw a bone any which way because he wants to see where the wind will blow with him and Craig. He's like, I'm not telling you I'll be friends with him. I'm not going to say I'm going to be an enemy. Just watch next season because I'm going to do this all over again with Craig for another year.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, none of the like little updates or like life goals are very exciting, but we get to Shep is always in charge of the toast. He always does some sort of a little rhyme. And this year he says, I drink to your health when I'm with you. I drink to your health when you're gone. I drink to your health so often, I'm damn near endangering my own.
That was so, I loved it.
Do you think he got that on Chat GPT?
I think so. Make a great toast, please, at the end of a reunion. I did think it should have rhymed, I guess, even you reciting it there. I thought gone and own could have rhymed. There's probably a word you could have, but no, that was wonderful. A little less heartfelt than some of the others. He's said some beautiful toasts in the past, but this one was fun. I've never heard it before.
Me neither. It had that little Shep flair.
I'll say. All right, well, now at the end of Southern Charm, we watched the entire season. I mean, you can't say we didn't.
Yeah.
We recapped. There's proof. We recapped every single episode. Season 11, final thoughts and notes for the future. What do you think?
Do you think it'll be same cast completely? Maybe no Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie's on Southern Hospitality now. We're confirming it. I would say because this was such a huge boost in quality over season 10 that everyone should get another bite of the apple. I'm lying. Charlie can be a friend of on Southern Hospitality. I think that there could possibly be an arc for her on the second season post Craig to see how she navigates the world after they had this sort of fractious breakup, or not even breakup, but ending of the relationship. Sally, obviously. I mean, forever. Whitner, I couldn't stand half the shit he did, but everyone deserves one more time. I don't think he needs to be fired. He needs one more chance. Even JT got another chance, and people hated him way worse than
Right.
Whitner. So I say yes. Let this cast happen. Maybe one new addition and one possible firing, but other than that, this was a good season. I thought it was
Yeah,
fun.
it
Maybe
was.
Shep can start doing some stuff. Maybe Austin can start doing some stuff that's not tied
Yeah.
to Craig.
Right. I know. I'm like, I feel like really depends on their dating. Like Shep's
Yeah.
whole storyline was that Bahamas mama. And so maybe he'll do something like that again. That'll be fun.
Remember when he brought that date and no one gave a shit? It's like his piano teacher or something.
Yeah,
And
they were all
people
like,
just
she's 37. Can you believe it?
and it was like, that was like his last ditch ever. Oh, Shep was really, I mean, God love him, but this was a rough season for Shep. I don't know what to say. Anyway, well, I thought, but this is overall a great season, so much better than last season. This was Sally's season. Craig and
Yeah.
Sally's season, really. They were the main engines for this entire season. Sally did so many storylines that you almost can't even count them. Like everything in this reunion had to do with some Sally piece or some Craig piece of the whole thing. So, congrats to them both, and I'm happy about the future of Southern Charm.
Yeah, me too. I guess taking its place will be the Valley and or Rhode Island Housewives because those start next week, the first and
Yeah.
the second.
Yeah, we have to make Valley Valley's probably taking this slot, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wow.
gear up. buck up.
Oh my God, Kristen and Luke with a baby.
Mm.
That'll Brittany post Jax.
Yeah. I'm like,
Uh,
I don't know what to expect. I'm really girding my loins. Every time I'm like, do I even like the Valley? And then it was like last season was so nuts because of the Jax stuff that it was really interesting. You know, like it was crazy with like the security camera with the Post-it and like Brittany going to a divorce lawyer and all of that stuff. Like it was so crazy.
Yeah. Totally. It was half of a good season. We talked about this. Listen to our Valley coverage in the past. We were like, what was Alex Baskin talking about? This is not the best reality season in history, but the Jack shit elevated it while all the other stuff was mainly boring. This is
Right.
what I have to say for the Valley, and I know they can't do this now. If you got Sheena and Sandoval on that thing with Victoria Lee Robinson, and it actually became the new Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
That thing would be the highest rated Bravo show of the decade. I'm telling you. Sandoval people will scream and like they'll be worse than Simon Cowell. They'll fucking scream, but everyone will want to watch how Sandoval is treated post Scandoval, and especially the Victoria Lee Robinson and him shit, all of the rumors and whispers about how toxic that
Him
relationship is.
talking about the sale of his house with Ariana. I know she would hate it. Sorry to her, but I want to hear what is going on with that.
Yeah.
Does he have to move? Are they selling it? Is he staying? Like, I'm dying to know.
Everyone pick your monocles up off the ground. Just think of the entertainment
Drop
level.
the pitchfork.
Drop the pitchfork. And I said Sheena too. I didn't just say Sandoval to be controversial. Sheena too. I need more Sheena and Brock. Brock and Sheena had a cheating scandal that happened on the timeline of Vanderpump Rules, and they have not reckoned with it except on podcasts, which I haven't even fucking listened to, despite my love of Sheena. So all of that can be ours, and it would make the Valley. Danny and Nia, I'm so sorry, but what the hell's going to happen if Sheena and
Absolutely
Sandoval
not.
get on this thing? Who else would we get off? It's the possibilities are endless. It's the promise of what the Valley was supposed to be. So
I
we'll see
know.
about season 3. I know they don't want to do that yet, but
Yeah.
will they for the future? We don't know. We'll be talking about that a lot when
Yeah.
the Valley comes into our world. But now let's quickly talk about this horrendous episode of Beverly Hills called Under the Tuscany Sun, or was it Under the Tuscan
Stranded
Sun?
under the Tuscan sun.
Stranded under the Tuscan sun. I mean, I don't know.
They're running out of steam here.
I mean, Sarah Michelle Gellar, what were you thinking calling the season boring? It's not boring. I was told that this was the next Amsterdam. trip. Andy stopped talking about that pretty quickly after that came into the universe.
Why is he always wrong? Okay, so we talked about Summer House on our last episode, and we talked about how Andy said this is the worst episode for Kyle in 10 years. And like I had already watched it when he said that, and I was like, I mean, I guess what he said was really bad. Like, I agree that it was horrible. We talked about it, like, but the audience reaction was like, that's what it was. I was waiting for I was like, were we hard enough on Kyle? Are people going to get mad at us? And everyone was like, he talks to her like that all the time. It's horrible, but it's not a surprise. Everyone, like everywhere across the board, they're like, that's what he was talking about. I'm like, he always calls it on the wrong thing.
I'll never forget when he said that Salt Lake City episode was his favorite episode of all time, and it was that Mary's Church episode. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? No, seriously, the audience reaction with West there, which West killed it on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
He was fucking perfect. But the audience reaction was like, yeah, we've seen this before. And Andy was like, I was shocked. He was like, what the hell is this poll? He was like, I couldn't believe it. And no one really cared. I mean, seriously, we're sitting here now. The reaction wasn't like anything like we've seen before. It wasn't like a Bravo scandal to match anything else. So
No.
I think we were tempered. I think that we had the right response. We were shocked. We thought it was horrible, but people have such lower opinions of Kyle than we do. So that made our monocles fly off.
I think everyone, from what I could tell, again, I had seen the episode before I saw Andy's comment, so I knew exactly what he was talking about. But everyone else who hadn't seen it yet thought it was the Carl and Kyle blowout, which I have to assume is like the finale or, something. So more to come.
It for people who didn't have low expectations for Kyle like you and I, who have heard him berate and scream everyone else, and he's even been so bad to Amanda, to hear the words that I barely even want to repeat directly to her just felt like, oh God, this is so indefensible. So that's where our reaction came from. Everyone else is like, fucking Kyle is a piece of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you and I, that was for Turtle Time exclusively for us to get our hearts broken by what Kyle did. But enough about that, because that was good. This is horrible. I just want to summarize before we get too in the weeds of this garbage. Kyle's whole strategy is unraveling, and Sutton's whole strategy is unraveling. Sutton crying about searching for Amanda on Chat GPT because of her love for her Sutton business or whatever. I was like, what the fuck is going on, Sutton? What are you talking about? I now understand why Erica was like, what is Sutton doing rooming with Amanda? It was such a calculated move. I get it now.
Yeah.
I had no idea that Sutton just changed loyalties midstream halfway through a season. She's now crying because of how much she cries twice because she loves Amanda so much. And then they fucking edited Kyle so bad, no, in a good way, to see the true Kyle, where she is just, to anyone who will listen, trying to talk about how erratic and awful Dorit is, and something's wrong. She's
There's like
late.
20 clips.
They busted her so hard, and every single talking head where Dorit is assessing things, I was like, Dorit is so fucking right. I don't even love Dorit like I love Kyle in terms of being like a good person or not, but Dorit has fucking Kyle clocked. I have never seen anything like it. So I appreciated Dorit having the proper read on this, and so does Bose, and so does Rachel. They're like, we don't want anything that you're doing, Kyle.
Right.
We don't have the same opinions. We don't secretly hate Dorit like you
They're
do.
like, yeah, we think that the way that she is annoying, but I'm not going to like make a whole thing about it.
Yeah, no, it actually is going to turn them against Kyle and now be more loyal to Dorit. It's backfired.
It's sort of in Survivor terms, it's like Kyle doesn't have a grasp on her alliances. Like if she were up for elimination, I think she would get booted.
Totally. She would get to tribal council, and it would be Sutton is the only one that's voting, not Kyle. It would be so bad. She really is not reading the room properly. And then there's no excuse for what Sutton's doing.
It's weird.
I'm like Sutton could. I was gonna say Sutton could. I'm like, after 2 seasons of this, like the wallet fits and that weird stuff, and now just Sutton Brown and all this kind of stuff, switching allegiances so you can be on Team Amanda. I was like, Sutton, it might be time for a little bit of a break here.
Yeah. And then I think Erica's just, Dorit is pissing her off, period.
Yes.
So she's just like on her own, just being like, she's pissing me off.
I mean, we've talked about it. I love Erica just being like, I don't know about all this other shit that Kyle's saying. I'm fucking pissed that you're late all the time. It's really annoying me. And then Dorit thinks that she's actually united with Kyle, like this was sabotage or a pile-on. When in reality, Erica's just speaking truthfully how she feels. Like she still loves Dorit, but she can't stand that she's an hour or 2 hours late for every event they do.
Right.
So we'll get into that. It starts with Sutton saying, guess what? You got Chat GPT'd big time. Like, they asked for mean comments on Chat GPT about you, and Sutton's fighting back tears. She's like, can you believe what they did? Mean reviews of your business. Amanda's like, that is definitely mean. And I'm hoping that ChatGPT doesn't become a mainstay for all future franchises where now whenever a new cast member comes out, they just ChatGPT what would be the best strategy for talking shit about a new cast member if you hate them. There's so much
lazy. The slopification of Housewives.
It's almost going to be producers need to come in and be like, no more ChatGPTing. It's never making it into the edit again after this.
Did you like that she fell into the classic trope and said, don't talk about my career. This is how I support my children. Don't they know I'm the breadwinner? She's, it happens every single time without fail. They're taking food out of my baby's mouths.
Yeah. Oh my God. I forgot that they were doing that. I didn't even think of that. And then Sutton goes, or the producers go, why the hell would Bose do this? And Amanda says, because her digital course makes shit and mine makes millions. And I was like, Bose has a digital course? That's that is a new thing to think about. Like
a new wrinkle.
It is a little bit. Like it does make it a little more interesting, especially if you're an Amanda defender, which I don't know who that is. But it's like Bose has a digital course.
Yeah.
So then later, I'll just say now, Amanda does Chat GPT, Bose's course, and she goes, stop. This is the Chat GPT revelation of a lifetime. Bose gets reviews that she is accusing my digital course of having. So I did think it was just interesting that Bose has a digital course, because it makes it like, they have something in common that you can kind of pick apart for
that's
Amanda.
why she's so sensitive to this, because she's like, this is my world. I can judge her specifically.
Yep.
I also wanted to tell you that Natalie from Beverly Hills posted like a notes app sort of thing and said, new to reality TV, and I learned the hard way. I didn't handle that situation well, and I understand why it came off messy. That's on me. I'm sorry. Lesson learned, and I'll do better next time. Now, can we get back to Bottega, please? And I'm like, next time? Like, no one gives a fuck about what you're talking about. Like, I don't even know. Like, what are you saying?
And is she known for going back to Bottega?
Like, she's like, let's just go shopping. Let's like get out of this mess.
Oh yeah. I was thinking Natalie, biggest fumble of the century, to have a one-on-one with Kyle Richards where she's calling you a liar right to your face, even though I don't agree with what Kyle did. Natalie to just like let that fly away from her.
Waste.
Like, I don't understand. I asked this to Megan. I was like, why would Natalie want to be on this show? Like, seems like she hates confrontation. She's not doing very much. She got the golden ticket. She's on the show. She's made 1 minute of things happen on an entire season. And Megan's like, people don't know that they're not fun or boring or conflict averse. Like, they don't know until they actually go. But I'm just like, Natalie, any other person would use that as leverage to like have a fucking war with Kyle, and you'd actually be on the right side. Because I think Kyle went so overboard calling you a liar, but it amounts to nothing because Natalie doesn't know what the hell to do with it because she doesn't know what she's doing. Yeah. And if you think about Amanda versus Natalie, they were both new cast members potentially. Yeah. And what Amanda did with her time versus Natalie.
Yeah. No, it really, we're seeing Kyle slipping here because when she talks to, there's a scene with, it's Kyle, Erica, and Kathy, and they bring up the Natalie shit, and Kathy's like, well, like, what did she say? I don't think it was that bad. And Kyle's like, I'm your sister. Are you going to believe her or me? And I'm like, this is not valuable. Like, I don't care about this. But then Kathy does a a classic Kathy where they're talking about Dorit being late all the time. And she goes, and men don't like it. She goes, Conrad Hilton couldn't be with Zsa Zsa Gabor anymore. It was too much. And Erica's like she was late all the time. She was like, yeah, always getting like her glam and getting ready. And Erica's like, okay, whatever.
That was so cool.
Thanks for that tidbit.
There's it's Conrad Hilton lore. There's a little nod to that in Mad Men with Connie Hilton. He goes, Don Draper, I'm waiting on someone, but she's always really late. So I didn't know what that was referencing, but it was Zsa Zsa Gabor. So no one asked for that historical tidbit, but I thought it was interesting that she was always late.
Love it. They also they say that not only is Dorit always late, when she does join, she's on her phone all the time, and they did back that up with footage. They also showed when Kyle's like, you're all over the place, it's fucking crazy. They show her like digging through her bag, and like she goes, you guys aren't waiting for me, are you? And I'm like, it does look annoying as fuck. Like everything she's complaining about looks really annoying, but it's not like a crusade worthy behavior. Like you could just be like, she's pissing me the fuck off. Like I hate traveling with her. She's all over the place. She's late as hell. But it's not like a season making takedown worthy topic.
I agree. Remember on Miami, rest in peace, when Lisa Hochstein was completely late for an hour, and the new cast member Stephanie goes, "What the fuck is wrong with you? My time is just as valuable as yours. Never do that again." And it was just like one episode or two episodes, but that was it. It wasn't about like Lisa's entire life, which Kyle is trying to make it like what's deep down.
Right.
But basically, there's no other excuse for Kyle except she deeply hates Dorit. And she wants to take her down in some capacity, and it's not going well. Oh, I have to say, this Tuscan sun, when they drive on these bikes, the grape stomping that we've seen for months getting ready for this, it was like 1 minute. It wasn't like I Love Lucy's famous episode with Ethel stomping grapes at all. It was like, remember that episode?
No one really wanted to do it. Like Rachel was like, do I have to? I also would be like, I don't really want to, because it's a tourist trap. There's no reason to do it. It's not a real thing you have to do.
I would have done it just so that I could drink the wine afterwards. Like
but
that I made.
Wine, you could just drink it anyway.
Well, don't you want to do what they did, first of all, in I Love Lucy, but also for years in Italy to make wine? Like just to be a part of it. But
that's just grape juice. It's not fermented yet.
Oh, sorry. Oh, God, what am I talking about? Yeah, you couldn't just drink it right then. You'd need to wait for fermentation. Oh, okay. All right, so you're right. It's pointless, but I just thought it was boring. Like, like I would have been like, I don't know, make it fun. Like, look at me, I'm like I Love Lucy. Like, remember when she was doing this?
Yeah,
like,
even Jennifer Tilly couldn't make it that fun.
Even Tilly couldn't make it fun. Was that similar in spirit to when Lucille Ball was eating all those chocolates on the line?
Oh, yeah. She was totally out of her depth. Not to mention the Vitamita Vegemin incident. She was just like fucking up left and right.
Is it safe to say that there were times where things got out of hand with her?
And her ambitions were more than Ricky would allow.
Yeah. Did you like Fred and Ethel?
Yes. I loved Fred's ties to vaudeville, as I've said before. He would get in the mix. Sometimes he'd go, I'll go get my vaudeville chest.
He was so funny. And he was really, him and Ethel had a sweet thing going on. Apparently it was very...
They hated each other.
It was very contentious behind the scenes as well. They barely wanted to work with each other. That's why at the end of I Love Lucy, they couldn't even be in the same scene together. But I'll just always remember those moments like Vegemin and the... and the chocolates and stuff. One recommendation I have is this book called The 50s by David Halberstam, and it has a full chapter dedicated to how fucking huge Lucy was. It's pretty good. It's only like 40 pages, like one chapter of this book, but I learned everything I needed to know about Lucy and
revolutionized TV, baby.
It was like, it was water cooler talk before they invented water coolers. People were like, did you fucking see what Lucy did? I'll never forget the time, I've told you this before, where they go, Orson Welles is in town. I think he's making a new movie. And I was like, there's no chance that Orson Welles is going to be the cameo guest on this show, is there? And then 2 minutes later, Orson Welles goes to Ricky, Ricardo, and Lucy's house. And he has a full scene. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Orson
Bob
Welles.
Hope was on. The Marx Brothers were on. It was always who's who.
And they had to deal with pregnancy. Remember? Because Lucy got pregnant, and then they said, we can't acknowledge sex or pregnancy. But it was so, I can't even say how big it was for television to be like, these two people had sex and had a baby. Anyway, but this was not like I Love Lucy. Let's just say that. Rachel Zoe goes, I don't like being barefoot. This sucks.
I did like seeing her without shoes next to Bose. They pointed out the sheer size difference. It was shocking. She was lower than Bose's armpit, the height difference.
Oh, yeah. And they could have done stuff with that, but they didn't utilize this to be fun at all. And then then it's Amanda and Bose and Natalie who are all of the witnesses to Pinocchio Mask Gate, which thank God they didn't talk about that very much this episode because Chat GPT Gate takes over. But they were like, what about the Pinocchio stuff? And Bose is like, I don't know what you're talking about again. I don't think I said that. And then they go, well, another thing that Sutton brought up. She's like, Chat GPT'd me. And then she was like, but you must not have read the reviews that were wonderful. 80% retention rate, huge.
No
comebacks,
refunds.
3%, which is lower than our refund rate. 3%. No refunds. She goes, in 19...
I don't think we even offer refunds.
I don't think
If you buy it, you keep it.
Yeah, $6 and go nuts. But if you don't like the content, you're fucked. Like, there's like 150 episodes to listen to if you pay $6. They're not all bad. But anyway, we're not like Amanda's 80% success rate, even close. Oh, and what about when she said number 19 on the Amazon bestseller list after out of 40 million books? I got to be honest with you. I don't care for Amanda very much, but I would be touting that stat for the rest of my fucking life. On my deathbed, I'd be saying I was number 19. Out of 40 million, like all of Amazon for self-published, that's a huge stat, unless she was doing daggered stuff, but I don't know if she
Total dagger, probably. I also saw that Bose did a front-facing video sometime in the last week where she goes, I blew it. I apparently did make the joke, and I didn't remember. She goes, is anyone out there guilty of, popping off sometimes? And she puts her hand up and she goes, is anyone ever not remember that they popped off? And she put her hand up. And I was like, why is everyone doing these off-camera reconciliations about the least interesting drama? Like, it's fine, Bose. I don't care that you said that. Yeah. I don't care that you forgot. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I almost want they can't not do social media, but I really don't want anything storyline related to happen outside of the confines of the actual season. And even this, now we talked about podcast and all that shit and the after show and stuff, but now we even just have people making claims on social media, like, addressing stuff. So I didn't even see that, but that's kind of a bummer. Like, it was just so not a big deal to even have to think about.
Yeah. At the vineyard, Rachel's like, do we have to go through all your stats at the vineyard? It's not really the vibe. And this is where Sutton is like, 6 years ago, I opened my store and I had the support of this group. And the fact that she doesn't have support breaks my heart. And I was like, what are you saying?
Sutton, I have no clue what she's talking about. I thought the anecdote was going to be people belittled my business and I had to overcome it.
Drop the mouse.
Yeah, everyone was so supportive, so I needed the same thing for you, and it's making me cry. I'm like, what the hell is going on with you and Amanda? It's weird. We haven't seen anything between you for 1 second. Where did this loyalty come from? And Amanda goes, this is kind of funny. For Amanda, if you don't like Amanda, you got a little red meat. She goes, I've never been in a room in so long where people don't know me and love me and enjoy everything I've ever done. All of my friends take my manifestation courses. They manifest things for me and I manifest for them. So I don't know. I've never been in a room where I'm not me and they know everything. And people are like, Rachel Zoe's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I go in rooms all the time. I'm 10 times more famous than you and people don't know me in certain places. And Bose goes, we don't know who the fuck you are. It was awesome. Like, what an audacious thing for Amanda to say.
It's crazy. She's nuts. So then while this is happening, everyone rode bikes, stomped grapes, and meanwhile Dorit's not even freaking ready yet. They, Kyle and Erica are, they are planning a sort of ambush conversation, whereas Dorit's like, we're getting gelato. And they go to this dead ass town, like town square. There's not a soul in sight.
What was going on there? That was like,
There's so many places like that. I told you when I went on my last, I went on a cruise with my family in like Bavaria, and we were literally like, is Viking Cruise like in cahoots with all these podunk towns? Because we would stop and they'd be like, all right, go look at some stuff, and it would be like the most dead place where like no one lives and there's no commerce or anything, like everything is closed. And I'm like, there's all these like ancient or like medieval towns across Europe that are just like don't exist anymore, that
whoa.
you can go look, but there's like nothing to see.
I thought it was kind of cool. I was like, did they shut down the streets for this scene? Because it actually made it more like emotionally resonant to be like, we're just
It made it
alone.
extra awkward because
Yeah.
there was no energy, and it was already awkward and they didn't know how to start the conversation. And then there was also no one there.
Yeah, I guess it felt more like a scene, like they shut it down
Right.
just to have this conversation. But I thought it was beautiful. Like, I couldn't imagine going to Italy. Like, I would go nuts. I'd make a lot of content. I'd like start filming a movie that takes place in Italy or something. Like to
Kelly.
have total Jake Kelly when he, oh my God, absolutely. Or it was reminding me of Ripley and stuff. Like, you could just be in these beautiful ancient cities and just with no one around. But I think maybe it was detrimental, like, because it did make it sort of awkward. There's no one around them. They're just having this heart to heart with Dorit. And Dorit goes, I didn't know you had a problem with me, Kyle, until I heard that everyone has heard you talking about me. And then that's the
Right.
montage that you see. Her
Right.
taking everyone aside to have conversations about Dorit. And I agree with Dorit. I wouldn't
Mhm.
have known that Kyle had a problem with Dorit this season again, had it not been for how Kyle is behaving. So that was
Right.
the right statement for Dorit to make.
Right. Erica chimes in that Dorit is always defensive, and she says she can relate because when she was going through her worst time, she was super defensive. And so Dorit's like, so you get it then. So like, what are you coming down on me for if you know that, you know, when your people that are supposedly your friends are judging you? And yeah, it's like, I'm like, all you guys have is like to talk about that she's late. Like, it's, you know, because Kyle's big thing she's hung up on is that like Bose or Rachel or whoever can say, they can judge her a little bit about her little like shortcomings, and that Dorit won't get mad. But if Kyle says those things, she rips her a new one. And she goes, well, yeah, because guess what? I trust Bose and I don't trust you. And Kyle's like, talk about trust. You read my text at the reunion. And she's like, oh, we're doing the whole thing again. And I was like, no.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, we can't.
Yeah, certainly not that. Well, I mean, at this point, I wasn't shocked that Dorit said that about Kyle. Like, you're not friends. It's been bad for like 3 years. Like, of course Dorit doesn't trust Kyle anymore. You guys don't seem good at all. We need to even get away from the pretense that you guys are close or
Right. That's
friends.
what Rachel says at one point. She goes, your friendship sucks. Like, what's the point of this? You guys suck as friends.
Yeah. And in Kyle's defense, like a little small defense for her, if she would have not said the late stuff and erratic and OCD that Rachel and Bose were rallying around, if she would have said, I gave the same advice about PK, and then Bose gave it right after, and you were like, Bose, that's the best advice I've ever heard, and she said the exact same thing as me, if she kept it grounded in the PK thing, I think it would have been much better evidence of how Dorit treats Kyle differently. But all this erratic, manic shit, no one was on the same page as Kyle. So this is not good evidence for Kyle.
Right. So yeah, it just is not going well. Kyle gets pissed. She goes, you never ask me about my divorce or Mauricio. And she goes, and by the way, I was married 3 times longer than you. I was like, well, we don't need to, you know, that's a weird thing to say. Like, you can think it and be petty, but it's a fucked up thing to say. It doesn't really matter. Like, a divorce is a divorce.
Is it like 30-10?
I think
30?
so.
Okay. 30-10, yeah. And Dorit thinks that this is a team up on her when Erica is not like that. Erica's so like independent. Erica doesn't give a fuck. It's all about, she doesn't do strategy.
She's no sheep.
No, she just says, like we already talked about, what she was feeling, which is just the lateness. But Dorit can't handle it in this environment where it seems like we got gelato and you guys are both against me now. So anything Erica says, whether it be in Dorit's defense or not, she's like, be quiet, Erica. I can't deal with this team up against me. And Erica's like, I'm going to talk whenever the hell I want. You're not going to shut me up. And that's when Dorit says, well, let's go, girls. I'm going to take my gelato to go because I can't stand this kind of shit. And Erica's like, let's go, girls. I'm not going with you. You just told me to shut up. And Kyle's not going with her. And then Dorit takes the damn bus.
Andiamo.
Yeah, tells the driver. Yeah, tells the driver to leave, and then they're stranded. Which I don't know how real it was. I guess they just had to call the
It was
hotel.
funny.
But yeah, it was pretty funny. It was a very big move of Dorit to just take the bus and make them walk in this town that they've never been to before. So it doesn't. I'd say it doesn't go well.
Right. I mean, if you zoom out, they're with however many crew members
Who have to
also
get back as
stranded
well.
and, whatever. But so they find their way back. The rest of the group joins them. They're like, where's Dorit? They're like, we don't fucking know. She ditched us. We had to find her. We had to hitchhike back. And Kyle keeps being like, she keeps bringing up, she goes, everyone says the same things about Dorit. Bose talk shit. Rachel talk shit. And they're like, no. Please, no. No, thank you.
It's so blatant what she's doing. Like, Rachel
They're
and Bose
just like,
don't.
absolutely not.
Yeah. And then Kyle does take a little bit of a dig. She's like, I know what Dorit's going to do. She's going to pretend everything is fine. And Bose goes, don't do her accent. I know you're going to do an impression of her. And she goes, I won't do her accent. Or should I say accents? And then she goes, oops, did I just spill the beans? And I was like, I didn't know. I feel like I know Dorit's accent pretty well. And I don't think it's wavered or shifted. Do you?
I mean, it was just a dig at Dorit having a fake funny, accent.
Oh, not like she can't do the same one all the time to fake it. It was more like I've heard her not have her accent and then do her fake accent that she puts on.
Yeah, she was just like, she has a weird, international way of speaking. So yeah, they take the funicular to dinner. It's awkward. Kyle forces the table to redirect the conversation to the awkward thing that happened that day. Rachel defends herself. She's like, first of all, I haven't known Dorit very long. I don't know how she is. I assume that the person I met is how she's always been, so I haven't assumed that she's acting any differently than normal. She was like, I judge her in the same way I would judge anyone. It annoys me when people are late, but it's not that big of a deal. And Dorit is like, she goes about Kyle, she says, you're telling everyone but me your issues. We were together in the Hamptons that whole long weekend and you never said anything to me. And she was like, we were having fun. I didn't want to bring it up. And she's like, well, you told everyone else, which is valid. And Bose is like, in her confessional, is like, Kyle's trying to garner support on her opinion so that Dorit will respect her opinion, but she needs to just stand on her own with that take because we don't want to be involved. And this is where Kyle goes, I don't care if you bought a Kelly with your book advance. And she's like, well, it sounds like you do. And then this is where Kyle goes, quit riding my fucking ass all the time.
Yeah. Oh my God. And people are stunned. And we've seen Kyle flare-ups before. Remember at the Viper Room when she had a vein bulging in her forehead. That's what Dorit said. It's like she kind of yelled at Dorit just like this. So Kyle has a limit and she hit it. Quit riding my ass. And people are kind of like, whoa, did you hear what Kyle just said? It took it to a new realm. And Dorit gives that shocked face, whoa, we're in quit riding my ass territory. And then it was to be continued. And I didn't see any scenes for next week.
I know.
Big surprise. It's going to be a surprise how this gets handled.
I'm like, okay, so just what this episode needs for it to continue longer.
Yeah. Well, maybe quit riding my ass will get Dorit and Kyle to have the actual feud where it's no longer a Cold War and it's just a war. Because the mystery of the season for me is why Kyle is treating Dorit like this. Are you so pissed at the text and PK stuff that you felt like your reputation was harmed and so you're getting Dorit back? Or is it that you are a center diamond holder war where you think Dorit is getting more powerful and you want to push her back? Or is it that you just can't fucking stand Dorit anymore and you want her off the show if you can and get everybody to rally against her? But you're only making Dorit more powerful.
Yeah. I mean, they're running out of time. There's can't be very many episodes left. A few? 3?
2, maybe. I don't know. I mean, they can stretch this out maybe 2 or 3. I don't even know what episode this was, but hopefully it gets a little better. I don't know. This is like I don't know, 6 out of 10 season for me.
Yeah.
This
I was
one is
enjoying myself until it just whittled down to be about Dorit and Kyle again, which is the last thing I ever wanted. But I've enjoyed it overall, but it's diminishing.
all right. Well, I'm glad we recapped it, and I'm glad we talked about Southern Charm, and I'm glad we said some news. But I just mentioned 3 things that we did, which means we've accomplished our mission at Turtle Time, which is always to
Yes.
do some news and talk about shows, which we've
Yes.
done. I think that we properly recapped them, and now there's nothing else for us to do except Amy and I need to fly into the wind. But first, please, please, please support us with your money by, if you liked this, go to Patreon. Could you imagine putting your cash in the Patreon ATM and what returns and spits out the other side is 100+ episodes of content? Could you imagine? Is there a better deal in history than that?
No. For $6, you get 4 extra episodes a month. For $10, you get, it's like, what, 5?
5
extra on top of the 2 that we do per week. So it's like 13 episodes a month or something if you pay $10.
Plus, some people hate ads, which I'm not one of them. I love listening to ads, and I love host-read ads especially. But some people don't like them. So for $10, ad-free episodes of our main feed episodes.
Audio and video.
And then if you're Scrooge McDuck or Ebenezer Scrooge or any other, take your pick, Richie Rich's dad, and you're swimming in gold coins, $25 a month, you could be a Medici-level patron where you're supporting Amy and I beyond our wildest dreams, but you don't get much else for that. Just little gratitude for the rest of our lives.
The pride of knowing you're supporting artists.
Just like this Italy episode that we're talking about. And just like Ripley, like Caravaggio. Do you remember that Caravaggio subplot? Remember Caravaggio? No. Yeah, he was a Medici. He loved the Medici.
Wasn't he the master of light and dark?
Yes. Oh, thank you for saying that. Ripley
Don't get me started. Chiaroscuro.
Oh. Ripley uses chiaroscuro, or the art of light and dark, to make his face look different when the Italian detective comes to see him, because he's already seen him as Ricky or Dickie Greenleaf, and then he has to be Tom Ripley with the same person. So he uses shadow to make himself look differently. It's one of the craziest things Ripley has ever done. So don't get me started on Caravaggio. Don't get me started on light and dark. But we have to say, and then free if you don't have money, if you're not a millionaire or one of these billionaires that people don't like, then please do the free stuff. Hype us on YouTube, comment everywhere, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify. Anyway, give us a little
TikTok, Instagram. Just help us.
Give us a little thrill, because Amy and I need a spirit boost in 2026. This is the year where we're manifesting doing better and getting better. So we love you all. Amy, anything else to say as we get the hell out of here?
TGIF. See you guys later.
Goodbye.
Bye.